Me la voy a llevar a toa pa' un VIP, ey. Saluden a Titi, vamos a tirarnos un selfie. 6 chis, ey. Que sonrían las que ya les metí en un VIP.
All right, so AARO and the Department of Defense, U.S. Senate Committee. It was the, I want to call it the UAP hearing 2023, April 19th. Let's see what took place. Well, there was a lot that was discussed and a lot that wasn't discussed. So why don't we break down what was discussed?
Yeah. Do you have anything else you'd like to tell the committee before we close?
Thank you very much for allowing us to come and share a little bit of insight into what AARO is up to and what we're doing. I hope to be able to share a whole lot more in the future. We have a lot of work to do, so if you don't hear from me outside, it's because we've got a lot of work to do.
Let's keep in mind one thing. AARO was established, I want to say about a year ago, and they were just kind of thrown into this position. They weren't given much data, I guess. They weren't given much clearance, I would say. And they were pretty much starting fresh. So let's cut them a little break here because they don't necessarily have a lot of, first of all, it was this, we would have to say that this was about funding, this whole hearing and stuff, but they do lack a lot of support, and everybody wants to give them a hard time about that they didn't talk about a whole lot, like such as reverse engineering or crash retrievals and things like that. First of all, you got to have need to know clearance in order to be able to have that information, let alone be able to present it. I don't believe that AARO, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick or Moultrie or Bray even have any of that. Last year's hearing with the congressional committee or whatnot, they didn't even know what the Malmstrom Air Force Base case was about. So what makes you think that they're going to present anything else? They're starting from ground zero, barely any funding, a small amount of staff. I'll give them credit though; they are working with NASA and they are working with Harvard's Avi Loeb to try to gather new intel and new data with all the different data gathering equipment that these two organizations have, and that's great. But unfortunately for us right now, it's not enough. The thing is that it's a start. It's a step forward. A lot of people are going to complain it's nothing burger, but honestly, we might know more than us as a UFO and UAP community might know more about the topic than Sean Kirkpatrick, unfortunately. But yeah, let's move on, and I'm going to show you another clip here.
While a large number of cases in our holdings remain technically unresolved, this is primarily due to a lack of data associated with those cases. Without sufficient data, we are unable to reach defendable conclusions that meet the high scientific standards we set for resolution, and I will not close a case that I cannot defend the conclusions of. I recognize that this answer is unsatisfying to those who in good faith assume that what they see with their eyes, with their cameras, and with their radars is incontrovertible evidence of extraordinary characteristics and performance. Yet time and again, with sufficient scientific quality data, it is fact that UAP often, but not always, resolve into readily explainable sources. Humans are subject to deception and illusions, sensors to unexpected responses and malfunctions, and in some cases, intentional interference. Getting to the handful.
So after hearing that portion of the clip, it's understandable how some people would be upset because he flat out said that some people might be delusional or whatnot, or equipment malfunction, and these would be some of the reasons why we would we were, I guess, be led to believe that these UAP are like extraterrestrial or whatnot. But there was something else that he said that really stood out, and it was, I'm just going to kind of sum it up in my own words, that in order to analyze the information, the videos, the data, or whatever, you have to use the scientific method, and that's observation, analysis. I forget the whole thing, but you get the point. It has to be scientifically analyzed, and it's hard to do that when you just have a video of a little um, silver orb flying across the screen. Although anyone else in the UFO community would be like, "Oh man, that's like it's an ET drone or whatnot." Well, yeah, but if you're trying to, let's see, like on how can I say this, on paper, or if you're trying to get the facts, that is technically not enough for us to definitively say it's extraterrestrial. So I give him credit there. And honestly, everybody wants to talk about Senator Gillibrand being like the star of the show. Um, I think she kind of humbled a little bit because she realized that um, AARO, I mean, they truly don't know, and they are working hard to get the facts. And Dr. Kirkpatrick is, I mean, he's doing his part. He's collaborating. He's trying to set up a system of reporting, and I'm gonna say it, yeah, I mean, he's working. He, we kind of saw a human side to him here, and he's also saying that you can't just present to him a video and we're just supposed to say, yeah, it's ET. It needs to be studied, it needs to be analyzed, and unfortunately, if it's just a video, that might not be enough to have like a true analysis and call it what we believe it is. So I give him credit there. And let's check out another clip.
Over half, about 52% of what's been reported to us are round orb spheres.
So what I liked about that clip is that he presented some data. He showed that about 50% of their findings were round or metallic spheres. And no one, I'm talking about Russians, Chinese, Americans, nobody has it in their arsenal. At least it hasn't been presented. But people like George Knapp, he's done his research and he's spoken to Russians, and he's more or less found out that Russians have also been trying to investigate the UAP phenomenon, and they've invested more time and money, for that matter, on the subject. And they're just as lost as we are. So I think the data that was presented by Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick is pretty significant, especially since the 50% of them are sphere metallic orbs. I mean, I personally believe that, yeah, they're either extraterrestrial or interdimensional or whatever the case may be. But unfortunately, that video, well, the video I'm about to show you, the clip of Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick isn't necessarily enough to be able to definitively say that. However, I personally do believe it. But yeah, let's just check that one out.
You'll see it come through the top of the screen. There it goes. And then the camera will slew to follow it. You'll see it pop in and out of the field of view there. This is essentially all of the data we have associated with this event from some years ago.
So there it is. It was hard to see, but essentially it was a sphere metallic orb that went across one side of the screen to the next. Who else does that? I mean, we have the MQ-9 drone, but that's like, it looks like an airplane, and it's like 4,000 pounds, and it's about a 60-foot wingspan. So, and I think Russians and Chinese have similar type of equipment like the MQ-9. but this is definitely not an MQ-9. It's not a rocket or a BB gun bullet or something. It's a UAP, a UFO. Some might call it an extraterrestrial or interdimensional drone. Whatever it is, it's classified as unknown, according to Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, which rightfully so. As he was saying, we need more definitive proof, more data. A video isn't enough, and frankly, I have to agree. And that's because I want to see the real goods. That's why, but that's about it.
When do you expect that you will establish a public-facing, discoverable, and access portal for people to use to contact your office as the law requires?
So I would like to first say thank you all very much for referring the witnesses that you have thus far to us. I appreciate that. We've brought in nearly 24 so far. It's been very helpful. I'd ask that you continue to do that until we have an approved plan. We have a multi-phased approach for doing that we've been socializing and have submitted for approval sometime.
Now that last clip, as you can see, if you've been kind of keeping up with Senator Gillibrand and her, her advocating for the transparency and everything, you will have seen that she's been really firm and really trying to grill, I guess, the DOD and other parts of the government that are in charge of this program, part of AARO, I should say. But in this particular situation, you can kind of see that she took a step back, maybe humbled a little bit, and saw that, like I was saying earlier, Dr. Kirkpatrick has, you can kind of see like a human side to him, to where it shows that he appreciates the collaboration. He even said, thanks for sending me those witnesses and stuff. And it's showing that he is doing his part in trying to set up a system of reporting and a system of collaboration. So you can't really, honestly, I was pretty gung-ho about calling out Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick prior to his hearing, but honestly, after seeing his hearing, I have a different level of respect for the guy, and I believe that going forward, we're going to see much more collaboration between the Senate, Congress, and AARO, along with Harvard and NASA. So who are the real bad guys here? Well, it continues to be the same people. Those in charge of those black projects, those with I'm not going to say all of them are bad guys, but people who are keeping the secrecy alive. Again, they might not be bad guys per se, but it's simple fact that we want to know the truth. And if you're not giving it to us, then yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let's check out this next clip.
Can you give us an update on sort of how you collaborate with the academic community and whether how the independent study being done by NASA complements AARO's work?
Sure. Two questions, so I'm going to try to make it quick. In 1979, Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I would go one step further, and I would say extraordinary claims require not only extraordinary evidence, but extraordinary science. And so how do you do that? You do that with the scientific method, right? And so as AARO is developing and implementing its science plan, it has to do so grounded in a solid foundation of scientific theory across the entire range of hypotheses that have been presented for what UAP are. That range spans adversary breakthrough technology on one hand, known objects and phenomena in the middle, all the way to the extreme theories of extraterrestrials. All of that has physics-based signatures associated with it, whether it's theoretical from the academic community, known from things like hypersonic weapons, or adversary breakthrough technologies, as we've talked about before, or the known objects that we have to go measure. The idea is across that entire range, you have to come up with peer-reviewed scientific basis for all of it. The academic.
All right, so yeah, another reason why I like this guy, he brought up Carl Sagan's famous quote, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and he added to that a little bit more. But it pretty much goes to show that, yeah, you need to be able to have a firm like analysis. You can't just watch a video and be like, oh man, look at that, that's an alien. Yeah, you just can't do that. It's 2023. We need much more than that nowadays. And no, I really respect everything he had to say in that section of the video. So where are we at with this? I mean, he said, I put it in the beginning of this video. I stated, or I'm sorry, Sean Kirkpatrick stated that we have a lot of work to do. That was his quote. That was a quote from him. And sure enough, that is the case. We do have a lot of work. I mean, we still haven't found the truth. AARO is just as lost as we are, honestly. The type of evidence they have is the same stuff that casual witnesses post on YouTube and stuff. So it's not enough, unfortunately. What's it going to take? I'll tell you what it's going to take. It's going to take another Phoenix Lights scenario. Everybody remembers that case, 1997, Phoenix, Arizona, triangular lights in the sky. Thousands of people had saw it. Some of them were able to record it. It was on the news. A week later, I believe it was Governor, I forget, Fifington or something like that. He made fun of it in a press conference. He had somebody dress up as a gray alien and pop in and like, "Yeah, we found the alien." And then later, several years later, he said he regretted that. But here we are, more than 20 years later. We're a little bit closer. I'll give us that for sure. We are a hell of a lot closer, and the stigma is starting to die off a little bit too. We are able to talk about UAPs now. I can go to my job. I work at a high school, and I can go to my job and pretty much go up to anybody and start talking to them about UAPs. If I would have done that 5 years ago, they would have walked away from me. Straight up. You guys know that. So what's it going to take? Another Phoenix Lights situation in 2023 with hundreds, even thousands of people recording it with their cell phones. We're talking about thousands of witnesses. Nobody can deny it. So let's say if we did have another Phoenix Lights scenario, what would happen? Well, AARO would be involved. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick would have to give some sort of speech on it. He would have to address it. The acting president would have to address it. It would be all over the media. We wouldn't be able to deny it at that point. And yeah, it would change everything. We need one more Phoenix Light event. Just one. Just one. It doesn't have to be in Phoenix, Arizona. Any big city anywhere in the world. Any big city anywhere in the world. Paris. Moscow. Rio de Janeiro. Mexico City. Well, let's have it be somewhere in North America, because anytime something from South America comes out, people want to like talk down on it for some reason. I don't know what that is, but let's not even get to that one. But yeah, another Phoenix Light situation. That's what's going to have to happen for sure. But yeah, Thanks for watching. A little quick analysis, quick thoughts on the matter. And I can't wait for the next event. Apparently there's supposed to be 2 more reports, a quarterly report and an annual report sometime June and / July. I'll definitely be doing a thoughts and analysis on that. Spread the word. I'm trying to get some better software here. I know the volume's a little bit low, but once I get some more likes and followers and stuff like that, I'll definitely be able to invest in some better equipment and get some more solid content out there. And I won't be doing this 9 o'clock at night when I'm trying to get some rest. I'll be able to do this during the day. But once again, 2023, what's it going to take? Another Phoenix Light situation. Thank you.
I go outside and suddenly I noticed 3 amber orbs. Every other light out there glared. These did not. So the light did not extend outside the edge. It was self-contained.